While most people would be embarrassed to have their more gag-worthy moments out there for the world to see, some streamers have actually managed to build an entire brand around their lack of hygiene. Get your bath bags and insect repellent ready, and don't say we didn't warn you. Love him or hate him, Adin Ross has always been pretty open about his character flaws. But despite his dedicated audience, pretty much every viewer can agree that they wish he'd stop picking his nose on camera. He's been called out on this and other unseemly habits on a number of occasions, only to explain that he thinks his streams would be less authentic if he were to stop.
I'm me, I do what I want to do. That's how you know I'm a real person. Like, I pick my nose, I bite my toenails. A lot of people do these things that you do behind closed doors.
The nose picking has become such an ingrained and expected part of Adin Ross's behavior that an impression of the streamer isn't complete without it. During a 2023 stream, Twitch superstar Kai Cenat cracked viewers up by imitating Ross on stream, complete with a pretty accurate take on Ross's rapid speech patterns and a moment in which he pretended to bite his toenails. Though viewers enjoyed the display, some members of the chat pointed out that Cenat needed to pick his nose to complete the bit. Though powEnvy isn't a household name just yet, the Roblox streamer has gained internet notoriety for the absolutely horrid state of his room. In fact, the uncleanliness has become a huge part of powEnvy's brand, with his occasional room cleaning videos being some of his biggest hits on TikTok. Over the course of a few years, viewers have gotten to see powEnvy check roach traps, pick up massive piles of fast food bags and drink cups, and even find a small roach resting on his toothbrush. In an interview with Business Insider, powEnvy compared finding roaches in his room to hunting for wild Pokemon. No wonder his followers can't seem to look away from the screen, no matter what he finds during one of his intense cleaning expeditions. Some people have accused powEnvy of putting on an act, but the existence of videos showing his living space from well before he was famous seemed to indicate otherwise. The streamer also assured Business Insider that it's not a bit. He just truly forgets to pick up his room on a regular basis. When powEnvy started his streaming career, he was still living with his parents. As viewers might imagine, his folks weren't terribly excited by the state of his living quarters, but this fact did not negatively impact his brand. The streamer explained to Business Insider, quote, "They're supportive of my videos, but they're not supportive of my room." Another name that has generated a good bit of controversy during his time in the industry, XQC has been criticized for his gambling streams, beefs with other content creators, and the generally sorry state of his streaming setup. Though XQC has made moves to straighten up his room in recent history, which also managed to gross viewers out, there's one habit in particular that fans are desperate to see him break. Much like Adin Ross, XQC is known for biting his toenails on camera. Even XQC's friends are appalled by his toe-trimming routine. In a clip that gained a good bit of traction in 2022, XQC's bud Pokimane tuned into one of his streams while broadcasting to her own audience. She watched as XQC bit off a nail and then ingested it on camera, causing her to scream out in absolute horror.
That out of the way, I guess we can take a little bit of a closer look at the system.
Unbelievably, the incident did not encourage XQC to quit chomping down on his toenails, and the streamer was even shown to have bloody toes after dealing with a pesky ingrown nail during one broadcast. Asmongold has been roasted by the internet in the past for keeping an untidy living space. His streaming schedule can be pretty demanding, which results in other things falling to the wayside. Over the years, viewers have seen empty drink bottles and takeout containers pile up in the background of his streams, to the point where it becomes a bit of a running joke among fans. That doesn't mean it hasn't grossed people out on occasion, though. To combat this, Asmongold has straightened up his streaming space a few times while viewers looked on, aghast at the moldy bowls of old food and garbage bags full of soda he tosses away during these cleaning sprees. The streamer has even posted before and after photos of his room to show his followers how much progress he's made. One incident from a few years ago stands above all others though, and it involves a little roach crawling up from Asmongold's floor and onto his shirt, in a clip that has been burned into viewers' brains. Much like a roach, the clip has survived, resurfacing on several occasions to shock viewers all over again. One of the more memorable responses came from XQC, who stared at his screen in stunned silence before remarking that it felt like Asmongold was used to doing this kind of thing.
Chat, this isn't the first time he's doing this, he's holding it. Chat, how do you know what roaches do?